Coming up next on the Conscious Courage podcast.
Allow yourself to be creative and or physical in this month of September and let me know how you feel. Come back and leave it in the comment section. So creativity also offers a way to explore and process your emotions. Coloring books, puzzles, which can be particularly helpful during recovery. So think about activities that bring you joy and fulfillment and take that time to do them in your life. Good morning. Welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast and sing it with me. Happy Motivational Monday. I am your host, Davone'a Tashae. I meet with you all every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to provide practical steps toward our inner healing journey, or what I've coined internal glow up. Whether you're here as a first-time listener or returning, thank you for tuning in. The team and I are grateful to every subscriber via YouTube and every listener via Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. With a special shout out to all of our IGU babes keeping up with us on social media on all platforms at CC Podcast with DT. Y'all are locked in and we are too hyped to have you here, all right? Now, ensure to listen on through so you can receive those practical steps as well as any announcements that we may have. Let's dive on into today's episode. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Conscious Courage podcast. We're in the month of September, which means new topic. For the month of September, we're focused on addictions. In this episode 23, we are discovering the power of healthy coping. As I've mentioned previously, as well as in the introduction, the Conscious Courage podcast is all about exploring our personal growth as well as resilience and well-being, or what I've coined the internal glow up. Not what's going on the outside, but what is taking place on the inside at our core and in our mental. So whether you're navigating the recovery journey from addiction or simply looking for ways to manage life stressors, this episode is for you. Quick recap. Last week, September 2nd, was our first release on the topic of addictions. So recognizing addiction, understanding addiction, as well as defining addiction. We did a deep dive into understanding and recognizing those signs and uncovering the psychological factors that fuel it. It was really good. Just go back and watch it and then come back here. You know what? Just have them on repeat. How about that? If you missed that episode, I encourage you to go back and listen. And the reason why is because it lays the foundation for today's discussion and the several discussions to come. Before I get too carried away, let me go ahead and drop this plug out there. So this episode and the next episode is me, right? Y'all gonna hear me yapping and educating and talking and bringing y'all everything except the flies. If you watched last episode, then you know what I mean. And the last 2 Mondays of this month, so let me look at my calendar. So September 23rd and September 30th, I'm bringing you interviews. One interview is with a woman who overcame her addiction to food. And she also shared the unfortunate passing of her brother when he succumbed to his addiction. The second episode is from a man who has triumphed addiction from alcoholism all the way up and through a few levels of drug misuse and abuse, but he has recovered. He is doing wonderful works. He actually has a podcast that I'll be on, which is so sweet. So stick around so you can hear those episodes, because it's one thing for me to bring you information, another thing for me to bring you prayer and scripture to encourage you. Yet I cannot speak to the tenacity and the courage and the grit that is necessary to overcome a said addiction. So may these interviews bring you additional insight, information, and encouragement as you pursue your journey or as you help someone else in their journey. All right, y'all, let me get to it. Coping strategies are the tools that we use to manage stress, emotions, as well as challenges in our lives. While unhealthy coping mechanisms like substance use or compulsive behaviors may provide temporary relief, they often lead to long-term harm and can deepen the cycle of addiction. Now, why does healthy coping matter? Because healthy coping strategies, on the other hand, they promote the resilience and the emotional regulation and the overall well-being that help us process emotions constructively, reduce stress, and maintain our physical and mental health. So by developing and relying on these positive tools, we can break free from destructive patterns and build a more fulfilling and balanced life. What I am excited about in this topic is the awareness that people will walk away with, wow, I didn't know that I had an addiction to caffeine or that compulsive act. Like, first thing I do in the morning is go and make coffee. That's the same gesture of someone that is addicted to heroin, in which the first thing that they have to do, there's that compulsive need. There's feeling that need. What is that need rooted in? The compulsive behavior that I must get this done. But when you realize, okay, this behavior is rooted in X, Y, and Z, then you can begin to supplant or take the necessary steps to mitigate your actions. Like, the more aware that you become, okay, first thing I do when I wake up, I get on my cell phone. First thing I do when I wake up, I go to the kitchen to make that coffee. Once you recognize that, you can go, hold on, wait a minute. First thing I do when I wake up, and then make a shift. Ignore the urge. Now, definitely easier said than done, because if you watch the first episode when I broke down what goes on mentally, where your brain has literally told itself, hey, I need this to survive. This is a necessity. It has now programmed itself that without this, I cannot function. Start speaking off my notes, start saying things out of turn, not bringing you facts, not bringing you practical steps. Let me get back to it. All right. So I don't know where I was about to go right there. But I did mention having that awareness, and that's where we're transitioning into right now, which is mindfulness and meditation. If this is your first time here, let me go ahead and share. When I use the terms mindfulness and meditation, it is not from the lens of New Age. The world has done a decent job. If you know the truth, then the truth will set you free, right? So you won't get thrown off or even bothered by some of the terminologies that people choose to use in the way that they were not formed to be used or fashioned to be used, whatever the way I'm trying to say it. And that is mindfulness and meditation. So when I use the terminology mindfulness, I am simply meaning being aware. I had to become aware of what my body was communicating to me in areas where, let's say, I was feeling anxious. Okay, but why do I feel anxious in this environment? Oh, I'm not able to be myself. Oh, wait a minute. If you watched last month's topic on anxiety, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against rulers and cosmic powers in high places. I know that anxious feeling, now as I've become more aware in my word, okay, this has nothing to do with a person or the environment, but what is the energy? What is the entities within that environment? What am I truly wrestling against? Is that an individual who's walking in envy, an individual who's walking in anger? I know that when I come into, let me slow down. Everybody doesn't want positivity, glass half full. And so my light and positivity and glass half full energy can perturb spirits in others, can perturb the energy or the negativity in another person. I recognize that. I'm aware of it. Hey, there are some days if I am like not at my best, I didn't get enough sleep, maybe it's my menstrual cycle, I don't want the positive energy myself. And so that said person may perturb me a little bit, right? It goes back and forth. It rarely happens, but it can, because I'm human. So I share that to say, through my mindfulness or through my awareness, I now understand, okay, I'm in this environment. I feel this way. What is the root of this, and how do I counter it? And I counter it by way of prayer, taking some deep breaths, walking away, whatever. And then there's meditation. So I don't use the terminology meditation meaning sound bowls and No, it's simply being at a place of peace, allowing myself to not get lost in distraction. By that way, I can hear God's direction, or I can simply just spend time alone. Today, I lied down on the floor with my puppy and I just looked out of the door and stared at the trees. That could be a form of meditation, which is simply unplugging. I think of it as unplugging and being present. Okay, not hugging trees or like, I don't know, whatever else. But let me say this, as I made mention of people taking what is for good and like turning it around, right? We understand, or if not, I'm going to educate you real quick. The rainbow is a representation, is a symbol. It's a promise from God that he will not ever end mankind by way of a flood again. Yet our world has taken that, transitioned it, morphed it into pride, and gave it a different meaning or different connotation. So just want to highlight that. And when you hear me use mindfulness, meditation, or maybe some other form of a phrase that the world has taken, I'm not using it in the way that the world is. I'm using it from my own understanding or my own way of applying it, my own application of the word. Now, being aware or mindful is a powerful coping tool that helps a person stay present and grounded. By practicing this said awareness, the person can observe their thoughts and emotions without judgment, which reduces the reactivity and helps manage the cravings and the triggers. Because I done took us all the way over here. Let me remind you what we're talking about, and that is addiction. So having the ability to be aware and present in the feelings and the emotions and the thoughts that are going on in a person that is overcoming or working to overcome addiction will help them manage their cravings and the triggers. For example, I was having a conversation with someone and their brain has connected that Fridays equal drink. Well, let's say if this person would like to work on drinking less, then when Friday arises and they have that urge, it's almost like relearning, like, okay, yes, today is Friday, but Friday doesn't have to equal drink. Today is Friday, and instead I'm going to work out. Instead, I'm going to have that thought. Okay, yeah, I want a couple of drinks, but you know what? Let me call up my people and say, hey, y'all want to do something different? Let's go, blah, 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 blah. So it's understanding what those triggers are, and maybe that drink signifies it's time for me to relax or calming, but just changing the behavior or filling it in with something else. Consider setting time aside each day for being present. This may look like 5 to 10 minutes, which can make a significant difference in your stress levels and overall your emotional health. Sometimes, because like when I hit the door, I'm like, all right, now I could do something for me, right? I've been at work all day doing things that's necessary for work. Now let me focus on me. But what if I were to take some time, I don't know, those 5 to 10 minutes, and I don't do anything for me, don't do anything for anybody, just get quiet. Woosah. Think about the day. That allows my brain to relax and calm and more than likely start dumping things out. Like I might can think a little clearer. You know what I'm saying? So just take that for consideration. Part 2, we're transitioning into healthy alternatives to addictive behaviors. So exercise and physical activity. Physical activity is one of the most effective ways to cope with stress and improve your mood. Exercise releases endorphins, that's a happy drug, which are natural mood lifters. I guess that's better to say that than healthy drug. Whether it's a brisk walk or a full workout session, even stretching, okay, regular physical activity can help reduce cravings and provide a healthy outlet to your energy. Ad break. Are you seeking an electrifying speaker to ignite transformation in your audience? Well, look no further. Hi, I'm Davone'a Tashae, real estate investor, Air Force veteran, and host of the Conscious Courage podcast, where new episodes are released every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and all streaming audio platforms. I specialize in delivering impactful keynote speeches that inspire change and elevate your minds. Whether it's a virtual gathering or an in-person event, I bring passion, expertise, and a unique delivery to every arena or every environment that I'm in. Let's captivate your audience together and create an unforgettable experience. Contact me today to book your next event, and let's embark on this journey of transformation, or let's get all of your attendees on this journey toward internal glow up. You can book me via my website by going to www.davone'tashae.com. I'll spell that for you. It is www.DAV as in Victor, ONEATASHAE.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Take care. Try to find an activity that you enjoy and make it a regular part of your routine. The key is consistency, y'all. Over time, you'll notice not just your physical benefits, but also a greater sense of mental clarity and emotional stability. Once upon a time, I would work out early in the morning. We'd do some cardio for an hour, and then we go and weightlift for an hour. And I just always feel a lot more alert and alive and ready to take on my day. Hobbies and creative outlets. So engaging in hobbies or creative activities is another excellent way to cope with stress and distract from cravings. Whether it's painting, writing, playing an instrument, or gardening, creative outlets allow you to express yourself and channel your energy into something productive. So what I would charge you with in this month of September is adding a physical activity and or hobby to your schedule. So for example, let's say it's a physical activity. Okay, out of 7 days of the week, do something physical for yourself 3 days. It doesn't have to be consecutive, back to back to back. Let's say you work out Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Or add something creative out there. You give yourself that space, that 5 to 10 minutes to simply draw, doodle, play tic-tac-toe, chess, checkers, crisscross applesauce. I don't know, right? Make a fancy peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but allow yourself to be creative and or physical in this month of September, and let me know how you feel. Come back and leave it in the comment section. So creativity also offers a way to explore and process your emotions. Coloring books, puzzles, which can be particularly helpful during recovery. So think about activities that bring you joy and fulfillment and take that time to do them in your life. Connecting with nature is another option. So spending time in nature can have a profoundly calming effect on your mind and body. Nature walks, hiking, or simply sitting in a park can help you decompress and reconnect with yourself. The natural world has a way of grounding us and reminding us of the bigger picture, which can be incredibly healing during stressful times. Y'all, I am speaking a little faster than usual because I'm like, I don't want to lose you. I'm trying to get back to 30 minutes instead of my 45 minutes or even 2 hours of content so that I don't lose you and that you stay the course in this here journey that we're on. So part 3 is self-care, stress management, and emotional regulation. A couple self-care practices. We've talked about physical activity. Now let's get into some emotional and mental health. And this can include activities like getting enough sleep, all right, eating a balanced diet. I saw a post that said the fact that people think eating healthy or normal is dieting, and then I don't remember the rest. And I was like, dang, that's real. Like, people are like, I'm going on a diet, but all they're doing is changing what they eat to a healthier portion and or choice. And it's like, well, we should be eating like that anyway. Staying hydrated and taking time to relax and recharge. One of my guilty incorporate self-care into your daily routine. Think of it as a non-negotiable. Something that you do regularly to maintain your well-being, just like brushing your teeth or showering. Look, y'all, today I wanted to get on the phone. Well, someone shared like, hey, I want to talk to you in the morning. And I was like, I'm going to do some self-care because I want to disconnect. I'm spending a lot of time on social media, sharing content, sharing my experience at InvestFest, and no. So I was like, minimal phone usage from social media all the way down to communicating. And I'll allow myself to open up and be available in the afternoon. But that's how I'm managing my self-care. Managing stress. Stress is a major trigger for many people struggling with addiction, so it's crucial to have strategies in place to manage it effectively. This might include practicing deep breathing, engaging in regular physical activity, or using a technique to stay centered. You can also reach out to a friend. Man, I'm having a moment right now. I feel like picking up a bottle. Have you an accountability partner or partners or a trusted family member? It could also look like, you know what, instead of picking up that cigarette, let me go pick up these sunflower seeds and eat those. Let me just keep my hands busy. It's also important to identify and address the sources of stress in your life, whether it's work related, relational, or financial. But when you get to the root of a matter and what is causing the stress, it allows you to take proactive steps to manage it. So, that bank account is on negative. My pay has been delayed. People at the job stressing you out. You were laid off. Or I also like to bring in something positive where you just came into so much abundance and it feels overwhelming. Well, take that time to implement some of the practical steps that I'll share with you here, but also reaching out to that trusted support circle that you have, calling out to a resource that is available. So in the area of addiction, calling out to Alcohol Anonymous and Googling that, or Narcotics Anonymous, or Googling a local church that offers small groups or working groups for those that are overcoming and battling addiction, just to name a couple. There's also emotional regulation, which is the ability to manage your emotions in a healthy way. This means recognizing when you're feeling overwhelmed and using coping strategies to calm yourself rather than turning to addictive behaviors. A good one here is those deep breathing, being present, and also being patient with yourself. But some others are journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or, as I've mentioned, some other examples that are out there. Part 4. Let me say this. This is really random, but you can go to Google for a lot and figure out, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm feeling. What can I do? What should I do if you don't have the funding available to use a counselor or a therapist? But guess what? There's also ChatGPT. I don't know what people use ChatGPT for. I use it like Google, or if I want to plan something out, like, okay, I have these many episodes that I'm going to record. How should I lay out my day to get this done on top of everything else that I'm doing? So it's like a good little assistant for you. Let ChatGPT be your free therapist. Part 4 is managing your cravings and preventing relapse. Recognizing and managing these triggers. So understanding your triggers, those situations and emotions or people that spark cravings, is crucial in managing addiction. I hear people say, oh, I'm just a social smoker, or oh, I'm just a social drinker. That's your trigger. What's your trigger? Being out and socializing. So since you know that, and if you want to decrease your intake of nicotine and or whatever else you have going on, or alcohol, then limit your social outings, or have the self-control or that partner that holds you accountable. Like, hey, I'm going to come out with you all, but I do want to have one drink and nothing more. If you see me going for a second drink, remind me of my goal. People that will hold you accountable. But once you recognize your triggers, you can develop strategies to avoid them and cope with them. So let's say if stress is a trigger, you might practice deep breathing or take a walk when you start to feel overwhelmed. In certain environments, or if certain environments or social settings trigger cravings, consider avoiding them or having a plan in place to manage the situation. Also, have you a relapse plan, because we're human, we're not perfect. And should you have a relapse, be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, and be gentle. And have in place that personalized strategy that helps you stay on track with your recovery. This plan might include identifying the warning signs of relapse, or having a list of people that you can reach out to for support, and regularly practicing your coping strategies. It is also helpful to stay connected to a support network. Whether through therapy, support groups, or loved ones who understand your journey, remember that relapse is a part of recovery for many people, but having a plan can help you navigate it and continue to move forward, y'all. Building that support system around you. Ensure that these are trusted men and women in your life. Surrounding yourself with supportive people is essential for your long-term recovery. So whether it's friends, family, a therapist, a support group, having people who understand and support your journey can make all of the difference. Don't hesitate to reach out when you need help. Building a strong support system is not a sign of weakness, but of strength and commitment to your well-being, okay? Healthy coping strategies are vital for overcoming addiction and building a resilient, fulfilling life. So by incorporating these tools into your daily routine, you can manage stress, regulate your emotions, and stay on the path to recovery. And dare I say, stay ahead a little bit. Just get ahead. Hence the relapse plan, the coping strategies, the support groups. All right. So remember, it's okay to ask for help, and it's never too late to start making positive changes, whether you're just beginning your recovery journey or have been on this path for some time. These strategies can help you stay grounded and focused on your goals. The practical steps were embedded within here. So there's the coping strategies, there's physical activity, there is having your recovery plan. There's also having a support group around you that's minimizing your exposure to triggers and being present, taking deep breaths as necessary, becoming more aware with yourself and honest. Take time to do the work. In our next episode, we'll continue exploring ways to build a healthy, balanced life with a focus on maintaining your mental health and well-being. So until then, stay strong, stay courageous, and keep on moving forward. I thank you for listening to this here episode. And if you found this episode helpful in any way, I just need 4 things from you, okay? What are those 4 things? I need you to like this here episode, as well as go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Okay, keep on coming, return, getting your notifications on all things internal glow up focused, as well as share with 3 to 5 people. Okay, what am I missing? Like, share, subscribe, leave a review. Okay, make sure you comment. Also join the discussion. I love to hear from y'all. And I had an episode where Miss Black Florida came on, Miss Black Florida 2024, excuse me. Let me ensure that I clarify that, Miss Stephanie Morales. And she said that someone reached out to her, and that was encouraging to her as she came on here and dropped like 3 hours worth of information and wisdom. So if ever I have someone on here, please also reach out to them as well. It's not about me, it's about y'all. Until next time, stay courageous, conscious, and keep on glowing from within. Remember, it takes courage to be conscious, and courage is the key to conscious living. I love you all, and I will see you next week. I almost forgot. In the first episode, I misspoke. I mentioned how caffeine, you can have an addiction to caffeine. And I was like, wait, let me actually go and read the DSM-5. So the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, does not formally recognize caffeine addiction as a condition. Okay? Caffeine addiction as a condition. All right? Said that twice because I was like, did I just say that right? But it does recognize caffeine-related issues such as caffeine intoxication, withdrawal, and caffeine-induced anxiety and sleep disorders. Now, I talk about caffeine in one of those episodes in the month of August as being a reason, or how do I want to say this? Like, it doesn't exacerbate anxiety, but it heightens one's anxiety. So listen, caffeine does and can have a negative impact on a person and their well-being, sleep, anxiety, etc. So as the saying goes, too much of anything is not good for you. Take your sips of coffee in moderation. And what's so interesting to me is that The same withdrawal symptoms that someone will experience when they are cleansing themselves of nicotine, alcoholism, marijuana, opioid use, etc., are some of the same symptoms of withdrawal that a person has when they are cleansing themselves of caffeine, shakes, headaches, irritability, loss of appetite. Like, it's really intriguing. I don't know. I drink high quality H2O. Don't have anything against caffeine. I'll sip it if I need it. But yeah, good old high quality H2O does it for me just fine. But I wanted to add that out there because I was like, oh, if I misspeak, baby, let me go ahead and clarify, because I don't want to give anybody fake news. Not me. All right, y'all. Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies, it's imperative that I note and clarify that I am not a licensed professional. The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insights, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health clinician or a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is of the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.